shit was shot on the iPhone, nigga. Yeah. So, live at 5.
What's happening, all you lovers and losers? This is DMV Don, and welcome back to the Betting is Easy podcast, aka hashtag 1-800-EASY-MONEY. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe, rate, comment, and all that good shit that makes the algorithms dance. Now grab you a cold one. Let's get to this money.
Yeah. Let's get to it. Welcome back to the Betting is Easy podcast. It's week 3 NFL preview. Sorry I missed the first couple weeks. My man got married in Jamaica. That shit was a blast. And then last week, I was just doing too much, man. I couldn't sit down and pod, but we with you for the rest of the year. So, gonna start off, just looking back real quick. Not even looking back, shout out to the Packers, of course. Anybody who know me know the Packers is the squad. Hopefully they made y'all some money on Monday. And then the Panthers game, ain't nothing really to talk about too much to dig into. Chris McCaffrey got hurt, so he's gonna be out for a couple weeks. Keep that in mind when you go to bet the Panthers next week. Great looking defense, but we'll see. Really looking ahead to, I guess, week 5. I think the Eagles and the Panthers gonna play. That's gonna be one we probably gonna be able to make some money, but we ain't gonna jump that far ahead. We're gonna get to this Sunday, try to win you some money. Let's start with the games you won't care about. Jumping off the top is the Falcons versus the Giants. The Giants is getting 2.5 points, or giving 2.5 points. They favorite. It was 3. At least I saw it the first time it was 3. Then they jumped down. Here's a funky stat for you. Daniel Jones is ass at home. He's 10-4 on the road against the spread, and he's 4-10 at home against the spread. Something funny about that, man. These are the kind of games that Matt Ryan wins. I am not a Matt Ryan fan at all. I'm the kind of person that, I'm always trying to figure out how does Matt Ryan keep getting these big ass contracts, because he wins games like these, where the teams are pretty much evenly matched. The Falcons aren't going to do much. The Giants offensive line stinks, but the Falcons defense stinks. So, it's one of those games where you're hoping that if you got somebody in fantasy, Kenny Galladay, I think, is still dealing with a hip injury. Sterling Shepard has been, doing his thing. Hopefully Saquon can wake the fuck up and do something in fantasy. Calvin Ridley is a beast, but game you won't care about, man. Personally, I'm telling you, if you're going to pick anybody, pick the Falcons in this game, but to me, it's a stay away. Bengals and the Steelers. Big Ben is supposed to be playing. I just read an update. Big Ben is supposed to be in, but that's not really saying much. He getting the ball away quick, but they stink. And then the Deontay Johnson injury is going to really hurt. So, looking for Claypool to step up. Devin Bush is supposed to be playing. TJ Watt still kind of up in the air, but the Steelers aren't really going places this year, I don't think. I think last year was a fluke with the 11-0 start. You saw that when they went and played the Skins, and then it kind of just went off the rails from there. And then you're talking about a Bengals team that, for all intents and purposes, is trending the right way. I mean, they're kind of built bad, but it's a division game, so I think Joe Burrow's getting better, more comfortable with his knee. We'll see what happens there. Funny stat for you. Bengals are 8-3 against the spread after a loss. Take it for what you will. I was supposed to say this in the beginning, but this is the first time we put it on YouTube. First time we, really putting a pod together. But this ain't your normal NFL gambling pod where I give you 10 minutes on each team and hope that, you decide to pick one. It's really a coin for the end of the day. You either going to go for the favorite or go for the dog. So I try to give you some of the tidbits that you might not get on other podcasts, or maybe you be watching too much ESPN and they fucking taking you the wrong place. But whatever, man. We Brown liquor starting to talk. Next game you probably won't care about is the Jets of the Broncos. Broncos giving 10.5 points. The Jets O-line is ass. Ain't no way else to put it. The Jets O-line is ass. And the Broncos defense is legit. So while I won't think that Zach Wilson won't, I don't think that Zach Wilson won't, look as bad as he did with against the Patriots. I think Bill Belichick kind of gets his rocks off by making rookie quarterbacks look bad. He won't look much better against the Broncos defense. I expect him to have success. But don't be surprised. I think the Broncos won't lose, but they probably won't cover either. So don't be surprised if that was kind of close. I think Zach Wilson was actually pretty good, even though he hasn't shown it yet. And they had some weapons on offense, but the offensive line is, messed up, defenses and whatever. But Salah, knows what he's doing from a defensive standpoint. Maybe he can make Teddy Bridgewater have a what do you call it? Mistake or two. But we'll see how it goes. So next game you won't care about is the Ravens at the Lions. Before all this injury news came out with the Ravens, Lamar Jackson got a stomach bug. They got four people on COVID. The nose tackle, there's a bunch of people. They Ronnie Stanley's still not gonna play. So it's been a infirmary unit. I don't even know if I said that right. Infirmary unit with the Ravens. But the Lions stink, man. You saw that on Monday Night Football. Lions stink. Jared Goff got baby hands once the ball started getting wet. It was over for his decision making. What we have here? One less prep day. Lions did play on Monday. One less prep day. Watch the injury report. The Ravens defense is way better than the Pack. Well, not way better. Bias. The Ravens defense is better than the Packers defense. We didn't really blitz Jared Goff all night. We didn't really switch things up to the second half. We put Jaire. I said we. I'm gonna say fuck that. This is my shit. I'm gonna keep on saying we. Goddamn it, go Pack, go. But Jaire Alexander went to the slot, and that kind of threw some things off. But the Ravens are gonna blitz Jared Goff. He don't like getting blitzed. So again, take it for what you will. The Ravens shouldn't lose this game, but pay close attention to the injury report because they could. I didn't tell you who I would like in the Bengals game. The Bengals, I think, will win that game. Jets and Broncos, stay away from me. 10.5 points is way too much, but whatever. Let's get to the games that you might care about. Colts and Titans. Titans are a 5-point favorite. Wentz might play. If Wentz doesn't play, you definitely don't want to back Brett Hundley. That boy's bad. It's a divisional game, though. And divisional games are usually closer to what you expect. So 5 points is a lot. Titans actually been ass for 6 out of 9 quarters. They weren't good in their first game against Arizona at all. They weren't good in the first half of the Seattle game at all. And then Derrick Henry just kind of went crazy in the second half of overtime. So if you think that means they're 5 points better than the Colts, take a shot. Me personally, I'll be on the Colts on the other side. Funky stat. Colts cover against the Titans under Frank Reich. When Colts cover against the Titans under Frank Reich at 4-2. How about that? And the Titans are beat up on the inside of the line, so they might be able to run all crazy like they did against Seattle. There's a lot of injuries over there, so keep that in mind. Next game you might care about, the Washington football team versus Buffalo Bills. Brown look on a Friday night, why not? Taylor Heineke's better than you think. I know, he's not a household name or anything like that, wasn't a high draft pick, nothing like that, but he can play. Tough, like, he makes plays, nice arm, got a little bit of movement. They got some weapons. So I wouldn't be surprised if Buffalo Bills defense is nothing to be scared of. They make plays, but they're a smaller defense. So, Ron Rivera wanted to run the ball a little bit. Josh Allen hasn't really been the Josh Allen of last year. And quite frankly, I'm a Josh Allen fan. If it ain't Packers, I like Bills Mafia and what they represent. But still, Josh Allen hasn't solidified that next step. He's taken the next step. He got paid like he's worked the next step, but he hasn't really solidified that. So we want to see. He still got to prove it against the Pittsburgh defense. He had troubles. They're not pushing the ball down the field, and that's a lot what their offense is. It's kind of opening up, no risk it, no biscuit almost. And I think that the Redskins defensive line has to have a statement game. So this might be one of them. So you're getting 7.5 points with I keep saying the Redskins, I'm sorry. You're getting 7.5 points with the football team. So you might want to, look into it. I mean, if I was going to put some money on it, I will. It's probably going to be with the football team because I think this is going to be closer than people think. The Bills haven't really ran away from anybody. They beat up on the Dolphins last week, but if you watched that game, it got kind of out of hand quick. I was actually hoping that, and it started slow. Josh Allen didn't really have a great game. It was just kind of like this snowball for Miami, so keep that in mind. The next game you might care about is the Saints the New Orleans Saints at the New England Patriots. The Patriots are getting 3 points. This could have went into the won't care category. This is going to be the best defense that Mac Jones has faced. Mac Jones, everybody couldn't stop, knocking his in the preseason, they were saying he was the greatest thing since sliced bread. He was next Tom Brady. He's what Belichick needed, and he's been thinking of dunking all season. And I think that the Saints defense is going to give him everything he wants. I think Sean Payton has something to prove. Now, they still have 3 coaches that won't be available. And I think 2 of them are defensive coaches. I think one is the pass rush specialist. I didn't know that you had pass rush specialist coaches in the NFL. They just kind of wasting money. But it's 2 defensive coaches, and I think 1 offensive coach, or maybe the tight ends coach. So keep that in mind. I think that's what really hurt the Saints last week against the Panthers. We were all over the Panthers last week. But it doesn't hurt on game day as much as it hurts during the week for preparation. So that's something to keep in mind. But I think that the Saints can pull this off. I think Jameis is going to be Jameis, and Jameis, when you don't expect anything from Jameis, he gives you enough. And when you do expect things from Jameis, he kind of fucks it up. So I don't think people are expecting much. It's only a 3-point game. You probably won't care about it, but if you're betting it, this is going to be one of those weeks. I'll tell you like this. In the first 2 weeks of the NFL, the underdogs have been killing it. Some outright victories. I think this is going to be one of those weeks where you're either going to see sneaky favorites just barely win. It's either going to be this week or next week where you start to see favorites come back around, because NFL betting is cyclical, and I think that in the first couple of weeks you had people all over the favorites, everybody walking to the season with their own biases, and then, underdogs, Panthers, the Raiders, shit like that, just surprising people. And then it's going to start to kind of even out in October. That's when you really start to make your cash. Last game that you probably won't care about is the Dolphins at the Raiders. Raiders are a 4-point favorite. Will Fuller might play. That's huge. When Will Fuller plays, he's usually dynamic, but he hasn't played all season. He had a suspension and then personal reasons last week, so Will Fuller's going to play. Jacoby Brissett is probably an upgrade over Tua Tagovailoa. I should be able to say his name because I'm also a Maryland fan, and his little brother plays for the squad. Look out for them Terps. But he hasn't been, burning anything down. So if it's a step down, it's a slight step. It's a baby step down. The Raiders O-line has been shaky at best, and the Dolphins love to blitz. I don't think Richie Incognito's coming back. I think their right tackle is also out for the Raiders. So look for them to be all on Derek Carr's ass, and he got an ankle injury. So and he said he was gonna play pretty early in the week, but still, if Brian Flores is sending the boys on you, you know it could be a thing. I read a stat that the Dolphins have beat the Raiders. What did it say? The Raiders have lost 7 of the last 8 against the Dolphins. Now, I'm not even like one of those people that like to dig into the history books like that, but stuff like that kind of, matters. Enough people. It's not like it was back in the 90s or the early 2000s. They beat them a couple times recently enough. They beat them last year, I guess the day after Christmas. So it was recent enough. These lights are bright as fuck. Could be a look ahead spot for the Raiders. They have the Chargers next week, so keep that in mind. And the Raiders like to start slow, so maybe Jacoby Brissett can get you a touchdown quick from the script, and then maybe another one mid-second quarter, maybe a 2-minute touchdown, and then make a game out of it and see what happens. But here's where you should keep your antennas up, because remember, this is betting is easy. 90% of the tickets are on the Raiders. 80% of the money is on the Raiders. That means run and go to the other side. The games you will care about: the Chargers at the Chiefs. Chiefs are given 7 points. 7-point favorite. It's a divisional game. You know how I feel about divisional games. They're usually always close. Patrick Mahomes is a cheat code. And the only way you can beat Patrick Mahomes really is if the Bucs beat him by, really just staying after his ass, but they had a bunch of offensive linemen hurt in that Super Bowl. You really got to keep Patrick Mahomes on the sideline. I remember this from early in Rodgers' career when you just couldn't do anything with that offense, and you had to just keep him on the sideline. Well, the Chargers are the best third down conversion team in the league so far this year, and the Chiefs' defense is suspect. So they're going to be able to keep Patrick Mahomes on the sideline, at least in my mind. The Chargers have been pretty good at moving the ball up and down the field against the football team and against the Cowboys. Where they keep failing at is they're selling for 3s and not 7s. They're failing in the red zone. They're not getting enough touchdowns. Well, guess what? The Chiefs love giving up touchdowns in the red zone. Their defense loves giving up touchdowns in the red zone. So I expect the Chiefs to convert a few more red zone opportunities. The Chiefs are going to. I expect the Chargers to convert a few more red zone opportunities. The Chiefs are going to score. So look for that. And what the Chargers like to do on defense is they run a too high safety kind of look, the same look that you saw with the Packers and the Lions game, and it's basically to keep things in front to avoid the big play, so that can kind of neutralize Tyreek Hill. But what we haven't seen in a long time is Derwin James playing against Travis Kelce, and Derwin James kind of locks up Travis Kelce. It was a viral video of him, I think, going against George Kittle in training camp, one of those like joint practices, and he kind of, roughed him up and got a pick on him, and it would have been a pick six if it was a real game. I don't think, Travis Kelce is a great player, but he hasn't done much against, Derwin James. And if you can neutralize those two players, then you got Mecole Hardman trying to get something done, or Clyde Edwards-Helaire trying to get something done. Now, I do think that Edwards-Helaire is going to have a pretty good game, because you can run on the Chargers defense, but we'll see. Again, I got him on my fantasy team too. So Saquon and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, man, y'all need to wake up. Next game you will care about is the Bucs and the Rams. Now, this is America's game of the week, and rightfully so. The Rams, I'm supposed to be telling y'all my picks too, but we'll get to that in the shit parlay, which I have to give away on camera this week instead of do the newsletter, because I'm just slacking, man. But we on top of it. We're gonna have fun with this. We got 15 more weeks. Lake Forest is digging the Virginia's ass right now. Bucs and the Rams. The Rams are a 1-point underdog at home. Look ahead line had the Rams as a favorite. So, keep that in mind when you're betting. The Bucs secondary suspect. You can throw on them, and that's kind of been the formula is to throw on them. And what I've seen, Sean McVay is going to throw him last year. Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods always eat when they play against the Bucs. That's a cold little tandem, but they aren't super big names, so people don't talk about them much. But I think Robert Woods went for like 140 or something last year. Cooper Kupp like $120 or something. They was, killing. So keep that in mind. The wild cards are going to be the two wild cards on defense. Aaron Donald you can't do nothing with, and that's the place where Brady doesn't like pressure. It's up the middle. But what do you do with Jalen Ramsey? And that's going to be interesting. So, personally, I like the Rams to win the game. I don't know why. I don't really have a reason. This is the game that's like it can go either way. You stay out of it for entertainment value. That would be smart. But I don't know. I feel like too many people are riding the Bucs, and the Rams kind of struggled with the Colts last week. If Wentz stayed in the game, who knows? They could have took a loss last week. But I think the Rams win this one at home. But who knows? We'll see. But look for what they do with Jalen Ramsey on either Gronk or Mike Evans. Now, I personally think they should put him on Gronk in the red zone and Mike Evans when he's walking up the field, but not sure, man. Sean McVay is a good coach, though. And I think Sean McVay is a better coach than Bruce Arians, and I like both of them. So this isn't like a ranking thing, but Sean McVay is a good coach. So maybe the Rams jump out early on the Bucs, and then Tom Terrific comes back and leads them back, beats by one. Seahawks and the Vikings. This could have went in the games you might care about, but I think this is going to be probably the most exciting game of the weekend. To be honest with you. I think the Bucs and the Rams are going to have the most drama, but the Seahawks and the Vikings is probably going to be a shootout. The Seahawks defense is kind of suspect, and the Vikings have been throwing it all over the yard. I think they got, from a fantasy standpoint, they got like all three wide receivers in the top 30. Russell gonna cook. Tyler Lockett's been cooking. DK still ain't really got off yet, so he will soon enough. But the Vikings could be 2-0. Mistakes kind of did them in. The Seahawks should eat. The Vikings secondary stinks. I put down here shootout for sure. I need to get a producer or something so we can have like a little bit more fun with this. Doing everything instead of pushing all the buttons. You can't really do as much, especially with the graphics. I don't know nothing about doing nothing with graphics, but it's gonna be a shootout for sure. I'm not really into betting overs or unders, but if I wanted to put an over or under out there, this would be one of the games where I would have to try to do it. Keep this thing on 30 minutes too, so we rolling. Take the desperate home dog. Right. The last game that you will care about is the Packers and the Niners, baby. Sunday night football. Niners are giving 3 points. Packers are coming in as a 3-point underdog. Let me ask you a question. Who the hell is in the Niners secondary? Jason Perez out for the season. They went and picked up Josh Norman, old bum ass, and he's hurt. So I don't know who's supposed to cover Devontae, who's supposed to cover if Randall Cobb can figure it out. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, young boy Amari Rodgers ain't get no targets last year. They need to go ahead and give him something. So Aaron Rodgers is kind of pretty pissed off. Packers beat him last year in the regular season after they kicked our ass in the NFC Championship game. So, and that was with Nick Mullins. So we'll see what Jimmy Garoppolo can do. Packers got to get some kind of pass rush though. They let Jared Goff kind of get his shit off. But then the second question is who is in the backfield? Trey Sermon is supposed to be playing. I think he's going to end up starting. Elijah Mitchell might play. I think he got upgraded, but I don't know who is going to be running the ball for them, and that's how they, run their offense. And I think seeing Jaire Mitchell get put in the slot last week with the Lions was a preview for him having to play against Deebo Samuel. And I don't think either one of these teams is really showing anything through the first 2 weeks. I think if you know anything about Packers football, it was pretty vanilla. That was a step above a preseason game plan, what they did against the Lions, which was probably why they weren't rushing much. They weren't doing a lot of blitzing. It was basically kind of two-man for the whole game, or at least the whole first half. It was a lot of staying in tight formations, running the ball, taking what they give you. So I think they were kind of saving some things for Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan and Michael Floyd, coaching buddies. So you gotta have some tricks up your sleeve. The 49ers are bad red zone defense. And last year the Packers were the best red zone offense, pretty much returning all the same starters outside of people on offensive line. So keep that in mind. I think there's going to be some points scored here. I think the over went up from like 48 to 50. And the funky stat for this game is that the 49ers coming off of those back-to-back East Coast road trips I don't have a number, but they're not that good. Coming off those back-to-back games where you have, you stayed on the East Coast like they did. So keep that in mind. Might be a slow start. Maybe want to look at the Packers. First half. I wouldn't be surprised if Aaron Rodgers came out with something to prove. We'll see what happens. I guess it's the best of the rest. Call this the teaser protection segment. Oh, we gotta hurry up because I'm trying to keep it under 30 minutes. We got the Cards at the Jags. You gotta look ahead spot. Cardinals play the Rams next week. Weird shit happens in Florida. The Cards are traveling East Coast to go to Jacksonville. Now the Jaguars stink. There's no reason in the world to think that they won't cover this 7.5 points, except for weird shit happens in Florida. So the Jags stink, but so does this line. So be careful if you're putting the Cardinals in your teaser. The Bears and the Browns. It's the first start with Justin Fields, and while I think Justin Fields is gonna be okay, he might be something to worry about in the next 2-3 years in the NFC North. But right now, I don't think he's had it put it all together yet. I think he's a little more cocky than he is confident. So we'll see. But the Browns aren't running away from anybody, and that's literally the problem. They run away from everybody. They run the ball so much that this game could be a little bit closer than you wanted to, just because the clock's gonna keep moving. Justin Fields likes to extend drives with his legs. Clock moves. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, just gonna keep churning and churning. Clock moves. So don't be surprised if going into the fourth quarter the Browns are only up maybe 10, and then your back door is wide the fuck open. So keep that in mind. I don't think the Browns will lose, so if you put them in put them in a teaser with the 7 points, then you should be safe. But keep it in mind, they don't run away from many people. I mean, shit, the Tyrod didn't get hurt. It was 14-14 last week with the Texans. Tyrod didn't get hurt. Who knows how that game ends? Talked about the Jets and the Broncos already, but you'd be tempted to put the Broncos in a teaser, but if you tease it, it'll just tease down to another dead zone spot, so you would need the Broncos to win by a touchdown anyway. Not really worth it in my opinion, but to each his own. And the Skins and the football team, Washington football team versus the Bills. Again, I think a lot of people, I've seen that on plenty of these gambling shows, that they're going to use the Bills in the teaser. I would recommend against it. I think the Skins are going to show up. I think the football team is going to show up. They got to pick a nickname so I can stop saying Skins, man. I'm not trying to offend nobody, but I've been a DC boy my whole life. I think that, Washington football team and that defensive line shows up. I think Heineke shows up. I think Antonio Gibson shows up. It's gonna be a game, Well, you might get the Bills to pull away late, but I think it's gonna be a game throughout. So be wary of that, So that's your teaser protection segment. Now, usually not gonna try to do this, but we're gonna give away the oh shit parlay on camera just because this week. But usually you gotta get the oh shit parlay through the newsletter. You gotta go to the website, BettingisEasy.Money. Sign up for the newsletter, and we gonna send it through that way. But this week, oh shit parlay, we got the Chargers +7, the Dolphins +4, Broncos on the money line, the Rams +1, and the Packers +3. Now those are the games I like the most. Now, if you really want to get funky, you also put the Skins +7.5, the Vikings on the money line, the Browns on the money line, the Colts +5. That's your oh shit parlay. I ain't even get a chance to see what it's going. Usually I'll put it in and tell you what a dollar will get you. Last week the oh shit parlay was 12 teams, and it was $20. Would have got you 1,300. And if it wasn't for the fucking Eagles, you would have hit that bitch. But that's how it works. You lose one, the parlay is shot. But it was still a pretty good week of gambling. So there's that. This will conclude your week 3 Betting is Easy podcast. I'm DMV Don. Make sure you visit the website. Like, follow, subscribe, wherever you're hearing this motherfucker at, because it's going to be everywhere at some point. And tell a friend, man. We coming right back next week. Hopefully win some money. And as always, be easy.